everyone. I'm Whitney Potter Schwartz, Senior Vice President at Outdoor Recreation Roundtable. ORR is the nation's leading coalition of outdoor recreation associations, representing the more than 110,000 outdoor businesses in the $1.1 trillion recreation economy and the full spectrum of outdoor-related activities. ORR works on society's pressing issues through access to the outdoors. We have all seen time and time again how the power of the outdoors can bring people together. We certainly saw that yesterday when the Expanding Public Lands Outdoor Recreation Experiences Act, or EXPLORE Act, passed the U.S. House of Representatives with overwhelming bipartisan support. This critical step really demonstrates the powerful momentum ORR members and industry partners have helped generate in promoting policies that expand access and transform outdoor recreation opportunities. It's clear that the outdoor recreation industry is leading the way on bipartisan issues that we can all work together on, regardless of party. We appreciate everyone joining this press conference today to highlight this historic House passage of the bipartisan EXPLORE Act. In just a moment, we will hear from an impressive lineup of speakers who have been instrumental for years in getting us to this point. Following remarks from our speakers today, we will open it up to questions from the media. This is truly a historic moment as the EXPLORE Act is the first ever outdoor recreation specific bill package to pass the House. With that, I am honored to introduce and turn it over to the Outdoor Recreation Roundtable President, Jessica Wall-Turner, who has spent nearly a decade spearheading this effort. Jessica?
Thank you, Whitney. Thanks everyone for joining today. And as Whitney just referenced, yesterday really was a landmark bipartisan achievement, both for the House, and recreation package has actually never passed the Senate either. So the first chamber to ever pass a comprehensive recreation package. The outdoor recreation industry and our entire community want to applaud and thank Chairman Bruce Westerman and Ranking Member Rul Grijalva and the bipartisan group of their colleagues who made all of this happen. The overwhelming and unanimous vote yesterday demonstrates just how strong the momentum is for outdoor recreation, and it's underscored by the booming $1.1 trillion impact that the outdoor recreation has on communities and economies across the country. The EXPLORE Act, which was built on the success of the 2022 Great American Outdoors Act and decades of work from many you will hear from today, is a significant business-forward legislation that addresses jobs, access, equity, quality of life, rural development, and of course, the conservation of our precious lands and waters for future generations to experience what we all love about spending time outside. It is the first ever recreation package, and it doesn't have any cost to taxpayers. It will streamline permits for guides and outfitters, improving access to outdoor adventures for everyone. It will expand recreation on public lands and waters. It will ensure access to green spaces, especially in urban and underserved communities. It will aid in developing and improving long-range trails and support economic development, among so many other things. It also complements the Senate's America's Outdoor Recreation Act, and this is why we urge the Senate, led by Senators Manchin and Barrasso, our champions on the Senate side, to take swift action towards enacting these measures. Again, ORR and the entire recreation industry celebrate the House's passage today as a pivotal moment for outdoor recreation. We will do all we can to work with the Senate to help get this bill to the President's desk in the coming months. Thank you for your support. With that, I will pass it on to Chairman Westerman, and thank you for the wonderful testaments yesterday to outdoor recreation and how we have all worked together. Chairman?
Hi all, I'm obviously not Chairman Westerman. He is unfortunately running just a few minutes late from another meeting. So Jess, I'll turn it back over to you. If you want to go ahead and go to the next panelist, and then he should be on here any second now. Apologies.
Sure, with that, I will pass it on to Lindsay, who will read a statement from Representative Grijalva.
Thank you so much. The ranking member obviously wishes he could be here in person, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak on his behalf. So I'll go ahead and start his prepared statement now. I want to first express my gratitude to Outdoor Recreation Roundtable and the many organizations here today who have lent their support to the Explore Act. I also want to thank Chairman Westerman for his partnership in moving this legislation forward. Americans' love of our public lands and spending time outdoors is growing every year. Recreation is a boon for local economies and job creation. But our public land management agencies must have the tools, resources, and staff they need to keep up. The Explore Act is a much-needed starting point for making sure all Americans have equitable access to our public lands and opportunities for outdoor recreation. I'm especially glad that this legislation includes provisions to promote accessibility for persons with disabilities, to increase job opportunities for veterans, and to close the nature gap in underserved urban communities. The outdoors are for all, and this legislation is an important step in making sure that that's true in both principle and practice. As the Explore Act moves forward, we must continue to build on this momentum by prioritizing conservation and restoration of the protected places that are the backbone of the outdoor recreation economy. Thank you again for your support, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Lindsay. And of course, thanks for your boss's work on this.
Thank you.
And Chairman Westerman, would like to introduce you again. Thank you for your leadership, the wonderful comments yesterday on the House floor. We all so appreciated watching that. You and your colleagues just made us all reflect on how much recreation can bring people together, and especially Congress. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Jess. And yeah, we got it passed out of the House, and you all played a critical part of that. And when Zinke was getting ready to testify, the Democrats were talking, he looked over at me and said, "This is like a kumbaya thing, that we need to do more bills like this." And it really was. People, there's really not a lot of disagreement when it comes to outdoor recreation. So I'm so happy that we were able to pass this bill with bipartisan support. I really appreciate Ranking Member Grijalva and other Democrats on the dais for working with us, and for all of our members on the Republican side getting behind it as well. And, you know, maybe it can be an example of how we can work better together in Congress on other things. I'm, hoping the Senate will take this up and we can get it through the Senate and get it on President Biden's desk. And it really is, I think, a testament to the work that you all did, the work that the committee staff did, and a lot of other people, in the fact that we were able to pass it on a voice vote on suspension. And it's a big deal. It's not just a normal suspension bill. This has got a lot of stuff in it. It affects all areas of the country, and it really was a bipartisan, and I hope it's going to be a bicameral effort, and we can get it signed into law. So I just wanted to say thank you to you all for the work that you've done, and look forward to seeing this bill move on and becoming law.
Thank you so much to your team. Your staff is amazing, and we will be knocking on your door again to get this done in the Senate. So appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Let us know how we can help.
And with that, I'm going to pass on to my colleague, Breen Tariq, Senior Director at Outdoor Recreation Roundtable.
Thank you so much, Jess, and everyone. It's such an honor to be here to celebrate this momentous occasion, right? The Explore Act represents a historic milestone for inclusivity in the outdoors, as we've been talking about. And not only is it the first ever industry-wide outdoor recreation legislative package supported by various groups, including the Together Outdoors Coalition, ORR's equity program focused on increasing diversity and accessibility in the outdoor industry. But most importantly, it also aims to make the outdoors a more welcoming space for everyone. It addresses the needs of gateway communities for greater outdoor access. It prioritizes increasing outdoor accessibility for people with disabilities and veterans transitioning to civilian life. It continues the Every Kid Outdoors Act, making nature a part of children's lives across the country. It also funds Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Program to provide funding to urban and tribal communities for green spaces and parks, ensuring that outdoor recreation is an accessible right, not a privilege for a few and a luxury. The Explore Act reflects the belief that nature unites and heals, promoting inclusivity in outdoor spaces, and is an admirable example of one of Congress's core roles, opening the outdoors to everyone, fostering diverse and connected communities. Speaking for the Together Outdoors organization and other members, I applaud the passage of the Explore Act by the full House and call for the Senate to quickly take up its companion bill, the America's Outdoor Recreation Act.
Thank you so much, Ambreen. And next we will go to Craig Kirby, who is the president and CEO of the RV Industry Association. Craig?
Thanks, Whitney. Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva, this is indeed a historic moment for the outdoors. I have to say, Chairman Westerman, I'm so appreciative of the enthusiasm you have had for this effort from day one. So it's exciting to get to this point. As mentioned, I'm Craig Kirby, President and CEO of the RV Industry Association, a trade organization representing the 140 billion American-made RV industry. For more than 40 years, the RV industry has been experiencing long-term growth that has been supercharged over the past few years as new, younger, and more diverse consumers turn to RVing as the perfect way to explore the great outdoors, work or attend school remotely, and experience the many physical and mental health benefits of living an active outdoor lifestyle. As an unprecedented number of Americans have chosen RVing as their preferred way to travel, there is a well-established need for campground modernization and expansion to address outdated infrastructure and meet the expectations of today's new camper. Specifically, federal campground availability is a pain point for RVers. Public lands consistently rank as a top destination, but getting campsites isn't always easy. The good news is the Explore Act combines several bipartisan and bicameral bills the outdoor recreation and RV industry have long supported and will allow longer seasons in some of our most popular parks and gateway communities, which will be very impactful on millions of RVers and their families. The legislation will also grow jobs in rural communities and provide low-interest loans and technical assistance for outdoor recreation businesses and gateway communities like RV campgrounds. It also establishes partnership agreements to sustainably modernize campgrounds on federal lands where appropriate. Most importantly, this bill serves as a reminder of how the outdoors brings people together from all over the country and both sides of the aisle. Once again, I'd like to thank Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva for their leadership and commitment to the outdoors. Now I'd like to introduce Scott Schlegel, President and CEO of the Motorcycle Industry Council.
Great. Well, thank you, Craig, and thank you to the team over at ORR for doing fantastic work on this. Really appreciate all the work that you all are doing. Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva, thank you for your efforts and for sponsoring this and moving it through. Want to invite you to come to our April 30th Capitol Hill fly-in and take a victory lap and talk to our executives about this and let them know of the, we'll be letting them know of the amazing win, but we would welcome you to come over as well. So, you know, at a time right now when DC is just drowning in partisanship, it was so refreshing to hear the bipartisan praise that we got yesterday as the Explore Act was being debated on the floor, or actually praised on the floor. It wasn't being debated, it was being praised on the floor. So great work by all. The Bureau of Economic Analysis lists the power sports industry, those are motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides, as being about an $18 billion, $18.5 billion component to our $1.1 trillion outdoor recreation economy from a domestic content perspective. But when you take into consideration imports as well, the power sports industry is a nearly $48 billion industry here in the United States. And again, that includes motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. So whether you're a dirt bike that's been strapped to the back of one of Craig's RVs, or and a veteran who's going out to take a nice therapeutic ride, or if you're an Arkansas family who's out on an ATV enjoying riding trails out to your favorite fishing hole spot or on a boar hunt, or if you're an Arizona camper who's bringing their side-by-side along to enjoy the BLM property out there and doing some riding areas out in Arizona, you're going to benefit from the Explore Act. So you're going to see upgrades to campsites, improvements to broadband, simplified park passes, refreshed trail maps for your mobile devices, and updated travel management plans. And those are just a few of some of the awesome improvements that you're going to see as a result of this bill. So we look forward to working with ORR and the Senate on passage of this to benefit the entire outdoor recreation community, and so that we can continue to benefit generations to come. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mike Leonard from the American Sport Fishing Association.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So I'm Vice President of Government Affairs for the American Sport Fishing Association. And on behalf of ASA and the over 800 companies in the recreational fishing industry that we represent, thank you to Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva for your leadership. And we, of course, wish Chairman Grijalva a speedy recovery. And not to make this a competition with my colleagues in the outdoor recreation industry, but the data shows that sport fishing is one of the most popular outdoor recreation activities in the U.S. It's enjoyed by more than 54 million Americans annually, and recreational fishing contributes almost $150 billion to the U.S. economy, supporting nearly 950,000 jobs. And beyond their economic impact, anglers are conservationists at heart and through their wallets, contributing hundreds of millions of dollars each year through federal excise taxes on fishing equipment and buying fishing licenses, all of which supports aquatic resource conservation. Besides clean water and abundant fisheries, anglers want and need access to federal lands, and that's why the Explore Act is so important. Whether we're talking about fresh or saltwater, conventional or fly fishing, the Explore Act is critical because it allows for easier, safer, and more enjoyable access to federal lands for all anglers and outdoor enthusiasts. Key provisions like having broadband internet, expanding parking facilities, and efforts to limit aquatic invasive species will all provide better access and better outdoor experiences for all Americans. Also important, the Explore Act will help federal agencies gather more accurate, timely, and comparable data to help managers and the public make more informed decisions on when, where, and how they want to recreate. This will ultimately lead to better management and distribution of recreation across our public lands, balancing out both underutilized and overcrowded areas, which I think many of us have experienced. As been said before, it's really heartwarming to see such broad bipartisan support, and this really is a demonstration of outdoor recreation's ability to bring all Americans together. So thanks for your time, and with that, I would like to introduce Karina Armijo.
Thank you. My name is Karina Armijo. I'm the Director of Outdoor Recreation Division for the state of New Mexico. On behalf of New Mexico and the state's Outdoor Recreation Office, along with all those who reap the rewards of a robust outdoor economy, we express our sincere gratitude for the passage by the House of the Explore Act. This landmark legislation promises to broaden access to the outdoors for both residents and visitors, while bolstering a vital, essential, and formidable industry within New Mexico. The significance of this outdoor recreation legislation aligns seamlessly with our mission to advance equitable access to nature, foster healthy outcomes, uphold environmental stewardship, and drive economic prosperity for every New Mexican, with particular emphasis on empowering our rural communities. Thank you for recognizing the importance of this legislation and strengthening our commitment to these core values and objectives. The passage of the Explore Act marks a historic milestone, representing one of the most noteworthy successes in outdoor recreation legislation, an achievement we can all be proud of. So thank you again. And now I'd like to introduce Dave McGlashan, Executive Director of Adventure Trucks.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dave McGlashan, not just the Executive Director of Adventure Trucks. I'm also here in the capacity of President of America Outdoors, which is the largest association for guides and outfitters within the United States. And knowing that this has not been a short-term bill, there have been provisions within this that have been worked on for over a decade. So I want to give huge thanks to Chairman Westerman, Ranking Member Grijalva for all of their hard work, as well as everybody, Jess Turner, ORR, all the associations and all the folks, representatives who've been working on this for many terms to finally get this across the finish line. So thank you so much for that. And as a small business owner, as somebody representing the outdoor industry from the guide and outfitter perspective, there are several key components that help our segment of the industry really find stability. And we want to say thanks to that. There has been permanent reauthorization of our ability to access federal lands and take the public onto them as commercial organizations. That goes hand in hand with conservation, because we're able to take people out for sometimes a couple hours, a full day, up to 30 days or longer, depending on where you operate. And for a lot of folks, it'll be their first time. So helping them see the outdoors and see how to interact with it in a way that conserves it for future generations. And part of the legislation in the SOAR Act gives us the ability to know that we now have that permanently. It also gives flexibility to small businesses in the sense of we're able to work with each other to give other businesses, other organizations, user days so that they can expand their operations if we're having a down year. And it helps work in relation to the government projecting how much money they're going to bring in with the outdoor side, the commercial guiding side, because of a provision around fee acquisition and charging. So we want to say huge thanks to that. It gives lots of clarity to everybody. And as well, it gives lots of flexibility to not just existing businesses, but new businesses, as well as allowing us all to project our finances for the year. So huge thanks to everybody that was involved. America Outdoors, hats off to Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva for getting this over the finish line and seeing everybody come together to support this landmark legislation. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Matt Wade, the Executive Director of American Mountain Guide Association.
Matt, you're on mute.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Wade. I'm the Executive Director at the American Mountain Guides Association. The AMGA trains and certifies rock climbing guides, mountain climbing guides, and backcountry skiing guides across the United States. As climbing has become more popular with the rise of indoor climbing gyms and climbing becoming a sport in the Olympics, more people are seeking to experience climbing on America's public lands, and demand for guided climbing courses and guided climbing trips has increased. However, despite that growing interest, the land agency permitting systems that authorize guides to provide outdoor trips have stayed the same for decades. These systems are now outdated and inefficient, and there are many reports of guides being unable to get the permits they need because the agencies can't complete the lengthy paperwork that is required for approval. And that's why we're so excited about the EXPLORE Act. The EXPLORE Act will bring these systems up to speed. The bill will make over a dozen meaningful changes to the permitting systems that will make it easier for guides to get permits and make it easier for the land agencies to issue and administer those permits. And I'll mention one thing that we're really excited about at the AMGA. The bill will establish a new type of simplified permit that can be issued quickly and easily when a guided outing will have no significant impacts on the landscape or on agency programs. So, for example, if a group is going to follow Leave No Trace principles and is not expected to have adverse impacts on resources, then the permit can be issued quickly without further analysis. This is a common sense approach that will increase opportunities for the public to participate in guided recreational activities and increase opportunities for guided businesses to grow into new areas. So on behalf of AMGA's 4,600 members around the country, I'd like to express thanks to Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva for your tremendous support on the EXPLORE Act and getting this bill over the finish line. We're so excited to see the next steps move forward in the Senate. Thank you. And I will pass it back to Whitney.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our speakers, especially the chair and ranking member for taking the time today. And now we will shift to any questions that we have from the media joining. And if you have a question, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen on Zoom, and we will go to you and you can ask your question live. So we have a few minutes to take questions if anyone has any. We will also be providing a recording of this conversation and releasing that so that reporters and others will have access to these incredible insights from our speakers today. So if there are any questions, just use that raise hand function on Zoom. And if there aren't any questions, then we can close there, but I will just pause for a moment. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining today. And if you have any further questions, please reach out to us. Like I said, we will be releasing the recording of this conversation. So thank you.